For decades, European nations directed their budgets toward domestic social projects, relying on American military protection to guarantee their borders. That arrangement worked right up until the morning of February 24, 2022, when high-intensity conflict crossed back over the continent's borders. When leaders scrambled to audit their arsenals, the numbers were grim. The German military discovered they held enough high-intensity munitions to sustain a mere 2 days of combat. That 2-day limit was the physical reality of a military posture designed for a peace that had just ended. European capitals responded immediately, rapidly shifting from a peacetime posture to an emergency mobilization to arm Ukraine. This chart breaks down where that equipment actually originated. Despite the massive political effort, 78% of the military hardware European nations sent to the front lines had to be purchased from non-European suppliers. What they did manage to pull from their own stockpiles created a logistical nightmare. Because European armies lack standardized equipment, they ended up shipping 12 completely different types of battle tanks to the war zone. Compare that to the United States military, which relies on exactly one standardized main battle tank to anchor its armored divisions. The initial scramble proved European leaders had the political will to act, but lacked the cohesive industrial base required to project hard power independently. Realizing the depth of their dependence, European governments opened their checkbooks. This chart tracks EU defense spending. Budgets jump 63% by 2025, surging to €381 billion. New NATO targets demand a massive 5% of GDP by 2035, 3.5% for core defense, and 1.5% for resilience. Europe is finally paying the strict insurance premiums required for its own sovereignty, setting up the financial foundation for a continent-wide industrial rebuild. Structural audits, like the comprehensive report authored by Mario Draghi, map out exactly what this rebuild requires: an injection of up to €800 billion in annual investment across all sectors to secure European competitiveness and security. To rebuild this strength, capital must flow directly into the factory floors and research labs that produce domestic hardware. To encourage this, the EU adopted the SAFE program, a facility designed to deploy €150 billion in backed loans, specifically structured to reward countries that procure their equipment together. Europe successfully drafted a fully funded blueprint for military independence, but architectural plans are useless if the construction crews refuse to coordinate their work. If the checks are being signed and the budgets are surging, why is Europe still purchasing 3/4 of its hardware from outside its own borders? The answer lies in industrial fragmentation. According to the European Parliament, maintaining divided national supply chains wastes roughly €100 billion of capital every single year. Domestic procurement laws actively prevent the industry from achieving continental scale. Fixing this requires overhauling public procurement directives to strictly favor strategic European technologies over cheaper foreign imports. This graphic compares the resulting hardware. Today, European armies maintain 178 completely different major weapon systems. The United States maintains roughly 30. Dividing resources across 27 uncoordinated national budgets to purchase almost 200 different weapon systems mathematically prevents Europe from building a self-sufficient defense industry. This raises a question few politicians want to answer. Can Europe actually secure its borders without eventually unifying its 27 national forces into a single command structure? The decades of relying on American protection and cheap foreign hardware are permanently over. And while the financial checkbooks are wide open, money alone cannot buy integration. Europe has to decide if it is finally willing to transcend its borders and forge a unified shield, or if it will remain the wealthiest collection of fragile, disconnected armies on Earth.